Hey everybody, this is Dustin, your RV specialist. So I'm still looking at this Brinkley, and just something, I'm looking at right now, right? So here's water drip lines coming, and obviously they didn't overflow. Let me zoom in more. Overflow over the gutter and run down right there. So there's got to be a gap or something there. And you see where the water line is, distinctively running down. And right here, you see where it's like I don't know what that is on there, but you can see where it's ran down here and then stopped. Well, there's no line here going down, right? So that gap that's back there, behind there, whatever that is, went back behind there. And then it also filled up that whole edge. You can see all the dirt and the yellowish glaze or whatever that was. I don't know if that's tree sap or what, but or some kind of cleaning product or something that somebody put on there, but it's on there pretty good, and it's like stained it. So, but again, this molding, I can see that it's buckled and pinched in here, and my concern always is, like I'm saying, is love me Brinkley, not bitching at them or complaining about them at all. Beautiful coaches, but I'm really concerned about long term not having any kind of water deflection. I know I get the general idea, hey, let's not seal them up. That'll save us a ton of money not having to go back and silicone them all up. That'll save us a ton of money when consumers call in and say, the sealant you put on, you missed a spot, or the sealant you put on, it separated and came loose. Well, the sealant's only going to last for so long. Every manufacturer out there says, hey, you need to clean and reseal it as needed. They don't know if it's going in snow, if it's going in sun, if you're driving it all crazy and hard. They don't know what kind of tires and suspension you have. They don't know what kind of hitch you have. They don't know what kind of pin box you have. So as these things are bouncing all around and shaking and moving and flexing and being turned hard to park somewhere, going in and out of a tight driveway, things move. It's just the nature of the beast. So that's another reason why you need to keep up on them. So if you have one of these, and again, this automotive seal package, it's we see it on the Thors, we see it on the Winnebagos, we see it on some of the Jaycos, we see it on some of the nicer high-end stuff as people are starting to go this trend with it. And my concern is, I live in Lodi, California, and if you go to any of our Facebook groups or any of our pictures, we do a ton of dry rot work and water damage, because number one, the dealers, they don't want to do that kind of stuff. Sure, it's the floor's rotted, the wall's rotted, the roof's rotted. You need a new RV, and we're not into that. We don't sell them. So, hey, I can fix it, or you can absolutely go buy a new one. If you want to go buy a new one, great. I'll be happy to accessorize it. I'll be happy to do the warranty work on it. I'll be happy to fix all the warranty stuff. But, when stuff's bleeding out, and there's huge gaps, and there's screws that, completely got missed, and screws that look already rusted, and this thing's brand spanking new, and screws that didn't get put in the end of the moldings, with things that are coming loose and bleeding out, all over. If it can bleed out, it can bleed in. And that's, my worry for anybody, for the manufacturer too, Putty bled out, all that stuff needs to get scraped off, maybe go back and tighten up all the screws. I haven't looked at the roof yet very much. I did like a little quick video on the side, but I'm preaching to the choir, I guess, but water deflection. If there's silicone on all these S-locks, at least the water can run down and bounce off and continue on. On the other side where I started this video, we seen something leaked down and it just stopped and then it traveled. So whether it be a soap, a cleaner, a chemical, fallout, whatever, whatever you're using, you're putting wax on it, polish on it, something like that. And again, here's where they did put a screw in the end of the molding, right? So on the other three, on this same slide out, there's no screw at the end of the molding, and that's a factory screw. That's they've installed that, right? And so up top here, there's none, and on the other, on the other bottom on the other side, there's none. On the other bottom on the other side, there's none. And again, that's not a knock on Brinkley. You're building these, it's not a production issue. It's things get missed. We're human, right? So I don't necessarily think I can turn adding a bunch of screws in for warranty or not. I'll check with them. I don't know if they'll allow any time for us to come back and clean off all the putties. Absolutely, if they're willing to do it, I'm willing to do it. But I want you as a consumer to take a look at this and remember that maybe that putty wasn't there when it left, obviously, because the rooms are shaking and moving and vibrating. And think about this molding here, right? That's an L molding. How is that moving? Whether it's going down the road jostling like this or it's going in and out, that molding is moving, causing it to push that putty out. So whether the room's going in and out and it's moving rough on the rollers or whatever it is and flexing and moving, that's causing that molding to agitate, to push that out. When that pushes that out, you now have a thinner area, right? So which means the screws are going to be loose, and you have a potential where it's moved the sealant in here to let water in. I do believe they wrap the rooms. From some of the videos that I've seen from the factory, I know that they've wrapped them and stuff, which is fantastic, way better than a lot of other companies. And I know that their floors are really nice. I like those too. But, it's just the unfinished edges that I worry about. And so, make sure that, again, you check all this stuff, keep an eye on it, come underneath here, condition your wiper seals and your bulb seals, check and see like, hey, there's a staple, there's a screw, there's a staple, 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 staple. One more here. And then, oops, you got a bug spider nest. And there's a screw. So, if water gets back on here, or water goes up underneath there, it can damage that screws. I'm sorry for all the noise in the background. I'm close to the street of our property, and so people always nag at me about, hey, go buy yourself a wireless mic or a speaker. I'm too busy for all that. I'm not making these videos so that I can get the views or the hits or get paid from it or the AdSense or all that kind of stuff. I'm making them to show customers like, what am I looking at? And I'm making them to help guide you, to protect you. And I'm making them so that hopefully the factories see these too and say, you know what? He's got a good point. Let's do X, Y, and Z. Let's go ahead and cover it with that, but let's go ahead and do this as well. So anyways, stay tuned for more, and I will talk to you soon. I'm getting ready to go close out the paperwork on this one. Again, it came in for a squeak in the floor that we checked some stuff out on, and it didn't help it to improve it much. And then we found a speaker that was out, that was, crimp on it was loose. And we found an HDMI that had some issue or some debris or something in it. When we cleaned it, it started working. And then, of course, we did some slide-out toppers here and on this side. We did the Lippert slide-out toppers white, kind of keep it all in conjunction with, the same brand of slide-out. So it's our awnings that are on here. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we will get back to you. If you have any questions or comments, we also get a lot of RVs. You've seen there was 2 back-to-back driving by right there, right? Well, this used to be old Highway 12, or not Highway 12, Highway 99 back in the day. So now Highway 99 is just on the other side of this building, like not even, not very far, but maybe the distance from there to there. This is a highly trafficked street, and so we still see a lot of people will come off. Further down the street, we have a Highway 12 that takes you up to like the foothills, Reno, Tahoe, all that kind of fun stuff. Jackson Rancheria, if you're a local customer, I own. And then the other end of Highway 12 heads you out to the Delta Loop. And so that's same thing. There's a lot of campgrounds out there. If you look up the Delta Loop, you'll see all that stuff to do. So if you haven't heard, California is probably, what they keep saying in the polls and in the readings, that California is the most RV traveled state. It's the #1 popular place to go. So if you are a Brinkley owner and you're ever in the California area, Northern Cal, come up and see us. You can always stop by and say hi. Hey, Dustin, we've seen your videos. We either liked what you said or we didn't like what you said. But hey, a few years from now, time will tell. So, Alrighty, everybody have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for watching.